Welcome, my darlings, to Tales of Love, the place where passion, romance, and unforgettable stories come alive. If you're new here, I want you to sit back, relax, and let yourself get swept away. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss the kind of romantic journeys that will make your heart race and your skin tingle. Tonight, I have something truly special for you. A story that begins with the tiniest mistake and blossoms into a love so intense, it could only have been fate. This is the wrong text message mobile phone fire flirty mistake turns into a passionate love story. It all started on a rainy evening. I had just slipped into bed, tired after a long day, the kind of day where you crave something sweet, maybe a little dangerous, just enough to make you feel alive. My phone rested on my nightstand, glowing softly in the dim light. With a grin on my lips, I typed out a teasing message meant for a man I'd been flirting with for weeks. It was bold, suggestive, just the kind of text to drive him wild. But in my exhaustion, or maybe in my eagerness, I pressed send too quickly. A second later, my stomach dropped as I realized what I'd done. The name at the top of the screen wasn't his. My heart thudded as I whispered, "Oh no," the message, dripping with flirtation, had gone to the wrong number. I bit my lip, panic flooding through me. Should I explain? Should I apologize? Should I just turn off my phone and pretend it never happened? Before I could decide, the phone buzzed in my hand. My breath caught as I opened the reply. "Well," the stranger wrote, "that's one way to make a first impression." My face burned. Embarrassment and curiosity swirled inside me. He wasn't angry. He wasn't mocking me. In fact, there was something playful in his words, something that sent a shiver of excitement down my spine. I hesitated, staring at the screen, fingers trembling over the keyboard. I should have apologized, ended it right there. But instead, I typed back, "I'm sorry, that wasn't meant for you, unless you didn't mind." His reply came almost instantly. "Mind? Not at all. In fact, I'd say you've made my night a lot more interesting." A nervous laugh escaped my lips. Who was this man? Why was I suddenly so intrigued by a total stranger? And why did the idea of continuing this conversation make my pulse quicken in a way I hadn't felt in far too long? The rain tapped against the window as I curled under the covers, my phone glowing brighter than ever, my heart racing as I waited for his next message. A mistake had brought us here. But deep down, I couldn't shake the feeling that maybe, just maybe, it wasn't a mistake at all. His words lingered on my screen, teasing me in ways I didn't expect. I stared at the glowing message. "You've made my night a lot more interesting." My fingers hovered over the keyboard, hesitant, but the excitement bubbling in my chest won against reason. What if I said that wasn't even my best line? I typed back, my pulse quickening as I hit send. A few seconds later, the little typing dots appeared, and I held my breath. "Then I'd say you owe me the best one. Don't hold back." I let out a soft laugh, the kind that came from equal parts nerves and thrill. This was crazy. I didn't know his name, didn't know his face. All I knew was that a stranger had caught me in the middle of a flirty mistake, and instead of shutting me down, he was pulling me deeper in. So I played along. Careful what you ask for. I might say something that keeps you awake all night. His reply was quick. "Who says I want to sleep?" A shiver ran through me. I tucked myself deeper into the sheets, the room growing warmer though the rain outside kept falling in steady sheets against the glass. I chewed my bottom lip, trying to decide if this was harmless fun or something more dangerous. Still, I couldn't resist. "You don't even know me," I wrote, curious about what he would say. Another pause then. "True, but I know enough. I know you're bold. I know you're teasing me right now. And I know you just turned your head and smiled at your phone before you typed this." My jaw dropped, a nervous laugh escaping my throat. "Okay, are you spying on me?" I typed back quickly. His answer, "Not at all. Just a lucky guess. Am I wrong?" I shook my head, though he couldn't see me. "Not wrong," I admitted. "Then let me guess something else," he wrote. "You're lying in bed right now, aren't you? Sheets pulled up, phone glowing in your hand, wondering how far you should let this go." My breath caught. He was right, every word of it. The heat pooling in my chest spread lower, stirring something deep and reckless inside me. I think you're too good at this, I typed, trying to keep control of the situation. Maybe. Or maybe I've just been waiting for someone like you to text me by accident. My heart skipped. Was it fate? Coincidence? Or something bigger, pulling me toward this stranger one message at a time? Minutes slipped into hours. Our texts grew longer, playful, filled with teasing questions and stolen hints of desire. He asked me what I looked like, but not in the crude way I'd expected. He wanted to know the details, the little things. The curve of my smile, the way my hair fell when it was wet, the softness of my voice when I was tired. In return, he painted pictures of himself through words. Strong hands, broad shoulders, a deep laugh that people often said was contagious. He didn't send photos, not yet. It wasn't about that. It was about the mystery, the thrill of discovering someone piece by piece, like slowly unwrapping a gift you didn't even know you wanted. By the time the clock ticked past midnight, I was tangled in my sheets, my body thrumming with an energy I hadn't felt in years. He made me laugh, made me blush, made me imagine things that kept me on the edge of something I couldn't name. As my eyelids grew heavy, his last message lit up the screen. Sleep well, beautiful. I'll be thinking about you. I fell asleep with my phone in my hand, smiling like a teenager, knowing this was only the beginning. The next morning, I woke with sunlight spilling across my face and the faint memory of last night still glowing inside me. My phone was still on the pillow, and for a moment I wondered if I'd dreamed the whole thing. But there it was, a notification waiting for me. Good morning, stranger. Did you dream about me? I laughed softly, brushing the hair out of my face. He was already in my head. My thumbs moved quickly. Morning. And maybe I did. Want me to tell you? Seconds later. Only if it's as flirty as last night. I rolled onto my back, staring at the ceiling, smiling like a fool. Well, I typed, in the dream you didn't let me hide under the sheets. You pulled them away and I paused, letting my heart pound, then added, you made me blush more than I am right now. His reply came fast. God, you're trouble. The best kind. I can practically see you biting your lip while you type that. He was right again. I laughed nervously, but excitement thrummed in my veins. Each message from him was like a spark, daring me to push further. By afternoon, our conversation had turned into a steady rhythm, like we'd been doing this for years. We teased, we joked, we flirted, and beneath it all there was a steady pull of something hotter, heavier. Tell me something no one else knows about you, he wrote. I hesitated, thinking, then typed. Sometimes I like to imagine someone watching me, noticing me in moments when I think I'm alone. My cheeks burned as I sent it, but my body tingled with anticipation. His reply, you have no idea what that does to me. Just imagining you like that, unguarded, unaware, but wanting someone's eyes on you. It's driving me insane. My breath caught. I pressed the phone to my chest for a moment, heart racing, before daring to answer. What about you? Tell me something. A long pause. Then, when I want something or someone, I don't stop until I've had them. Completely. The words sink into me like heat spreading through my blood. I clenched my thighs together under the blanket, trying to steady myself, but there was no denying the fire he'd lit. The messages grew slower, heavier with meaning. No more surface-level questions. Now it was what we wanted, what we imagined, what we'd do if we were face-to-face. I admitted things I'd never said out loud before, fantasies that had always stayed in the shadows of my mind. And instead of judging, he matched me. Bold for bold. Heat for heat. Hours slipped away like minutes. I found myself glancing at the clock, impatient for the next buzz of my phone. And then he asked the question I hadn't realized I was waiting for. When do I get to see you? My chest tightened. Excitement, fear, desire, all tangled together. I stared at the screen, my pulse racing. You really want to? I typed. His answer came instantly. More than you know. I don't want to imagine anymore. I want to see your smile. Hear your laugh. Watch you blush in front of me instead of through a screen. I sat there, my heart pounding, a slow smile spreading across my lips. For the first time, the thought of turning this wild mistake into something real didn't just thrill me. It felt inevitable. The question hung on my screen like a live wire. When do I get to see you? My pulse thudded in my ears as I stared at it, every nerve alive. For all the teasing, all the flirting, all the wild confessions we'd traded, this was different. This was the moment everything turned real. I typed slowly, my fingers trembling. What if we don't click in person? His response came fast. We already click. You feel it too, I know you do. I just need to see the way your lips curve when you smile at me, not at your phone. I pressed the phone against my chest, eyes closed, heat rising in my cheeks. He was right. Whatever this was, it wasn't going away. And I wanted it as much as he did. When? I finally asked. Tomorrow night. Dinner. No excuses. I laughed out loud at his boldness, shaking my head. You're very sure of yourself. I have to be, he wrote. Otherwise I might lose my chance with you. And I can't let that happen. The certainty in his words sent a thrill racing through me. I agreed before I could talk myself out of it, giving him the name of a small Italian restaurant I loved. Neutral ground, public enough to feel safe, but intimate enough to feel personal. The next 24 hours were torture. I kept checking my reflection, second-guessing outfits, imagining what he might look like, what he might think when he saw me. My mind replayed our messages over and over, every teasing word, every confession, every hot admission that had left me breathless under my sheets. When I walked into the restaurant the following evening, my heart was hammering so hard I thought people could hear it. The place was softly lit, the smell of garlic and wine in the air, couples tucked into little tables that glowed under flickering candles. And then I saw him. He was already standing, watching the door, as if he'd known exactly when I'd arrive. Tall, broad-shouldered, with dark eyes that locked onto mine the instant I stepped inside. My breath caught, my steps faltered. God, he was even more magnetic than I'd dared imagine. The corner of his mouth lifted into a slow, knowing smile, the kind that said, yes, it's really me. Yes, you're exactly who I've been waiting for. I moved toward him, every nerve in my body on fire. When I reached the table, he leaned close, his voice low and rich. So, you're the flirty stranger who made my week. I laughed, a little breathless, and nodded. Guilty. His gaze lingered on me, slow and deliberate, like he was memorizing every detail. It made me flush, heat crawling at my neck. He pulled out my chair, his hand brushing lightly against my arm as I sat down. That single touch sent a jolt straight through me, sharp and sweet. Dinner was a blur of conversation, laughter, stolen glances that lasted too long. Every time his hand brushed mine across the table, every time his eyes darkened with something deeper than amusement, the air grew heavier, hotter. And when dessert came, untouched between us, he leaned in closer, his voice rougher now. You have no idea how hard it is to sit here and not touch you the way I want to. My breath caught, knees pressing together under the table. Maybe you should stop trying so hard then, I whispered back, my voice shaky but bold. His eyes burned into mine. The electricity between us was undeniable, a living thing that pulsed with every heartbeat. I knew, right then, that when we left this restaurant, we wouldn't be going our separate ways. This wasn't a mistake anymore. This was fate pulling us exactly where we were meant to be. We lingered at the table longer than either of us needed to, words spilling easily, laughter mixing with the steady hum of desire that grew thicker with every glance. His hand brushed mine one last time, and this time, neither of us pulled away. His fingers lingered, strong and deliberate, sliding between mine as if they belonged there. Come with me, he murmured, his voice low enough that it vibrated straight through me. I didn't hesitate. The restaurant faded behind us, the night air cool against my skin, my heart pounding as he led me down the quiet street. We didn't talk, didn't need to. The silence between us was charged, heavy with everything we'd been holding back for days. When we reached his car, he opened the door for me, his hand brushing my lower back, and that simple touch made me shiver. By the time we reached his place, my anticipation was nearly unbearable. The door closed behind us with a soft click, sealing us in together. He turned toward me, eyes dark and hungry, and in the next heartbeat, his lips were on mine. The kiss was fierce, urgent, weeks of teasing and hours of longing poured into it. His hands framed my face, then slid down, pulling me closer, pressing me against him until I could feel every line of his body. I melted into him, my hands clutching at his shirt, tugging him down harder, deeper. He pulled back just enough to whisper against my lips, "I've been imagining this since your first text." I laughed breathlessly. So have I. Then there was no more talking. His mouth was on mine again, his hands exploring, sliding over my curves, drawing soft gasps from me. My body responded instantly, arching into him, aching to feel more. Every touch was electric, every kiss a spark that set me on fire. Clothes fell away piece by piece, tossed aside in a trail that marked our path to his bedroom. By the time he laid me back against the sheets, I was trembling with desire, my pulse racing so fast I could hardly breathe. He paused, hovering over me, his eyes locked on mine. "You're even more beautiful than I imagined." Heat flooded my cheeks, but before I could respond, his lips were on my neck, my shoulder, trailing down, worshipping every inch of me. I gasped, my fingers tangling in his hair, the sensations overwhelming, intoxicating. The night became a blur of heat and passion, of whispered confessions and desperate kisses, of hands and mouths learning every secret our bodies had to offer. He was tender and demanding all at once, making me laugh, making me moan, making me lose myself completely in him. And when it was finally over, when we collapsed together, tangled in damp sheets and warm limbs, I lay against his chest, my body still buzzing, my heart too full to contain. His hand stroked through my hair, his voice rough but soft. "Best wrong number I've ever gotten." I laughed, pressing a kiss to his chest. "Best mistake I've ever made." Silence settled around us, the kind that felt safe, like a promise. I realized then that it hadn't been a mistake at all, not really. Somehow, the universe had found a way to send me exactly where I was supposed to be. And as I drifted to sleep in his arms, I knew this was only the beginning of a love story neither of us had seen coming, but both of us would never let go.